Does your teenager know how to approach an extract for the first time in an exam? And would they be able to approach an unseen poem in an exam that they've never seen before and be able to analyse it correctly and answer an exam question successfully? Here are the top 6 errors when analysing an unseen poem for the first time. Hi parents, this is Natalie Chama from Chama Tuition. I hope everyone is well and having a fantastic day today. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel and click on your notification bell so you'll be the first ones to know when I have my next video. So today we are talking about the top 6 errors when it comes to approaching an unseen poem. And as I am going through poetry this month, some teenagers don't like it, some teenagers hate it, and especially in the AQA paper for GCSE English literature, they have to analyse sometimes an unseen poem, and they have an anthology that they focus on. There is a question in an English literature paper. They have to approach a poem that they've never seen before, and they have to be able to analyse it successfully. And I've seen a lot of errors when it comes to approaching an unseen poem that teenagers usually make. So I'm here to stop your teenager making these errors. So parents, I am going to go through the errors, but please make sure you tune in to the very end of the video. So number 1, they forget to understand what the poem is about. And with anything, they need to understand what the extract is telling them. So when it comes to poetry, obviously it's very figurative. So they have to kind of delve deep into the meaning of the poem, because it's not literal. Sometimes it's not in your face. If it's talking about, I don't know, for example, it's talking about a bag, it's not necessarily about a bag. It's got a deeper meaning. So what is the poet talking about? And usually the title will say it all in a poem of what it's about. Sometimes the title can be a little bit unclear, so they have to read through it carefully to understand first, what do they think the poem is about? Number 2, explore the themes and emotions in the poem. So when we talk about themes, I've discussed themes before in other videos, but when I mean themes are just recurring ideas, so repeated ideas in the text. So if it's talking about, it could be talking about love in the poem, it could be talking about war in the poem. If they do war poetry, for example, which is quite popular when it comes to GCSE English, they've got Power and Conflict anthology if they're focusing on that. For the AQA paper, if your teenager's focusing on that for GCSE English. And Power and Conflict has got a lot of different poems that is based around war. For example, Exposure by Wilfred Owen. And you know, they have to know what the theme is, because when they know what the theme is, usually the exam question is focused on that particular theme, and they can also discuss it in their answer as well. And when I say emotions, just the feelings around the poem. So maybe it's the speaker, and when I mean speaker, I mean the person that is literally narrating the poem. Is it the poet itself, or is it another character? And how are they feeling? Are they sad? Are they happy? Are they angry? Has it got a very, exciting tone? So help them to understand that first. And number 3, they forget to identify the language devices that are used in the poem. So when I say language devices, poetic devices, it's all the same thing. I mean, when they are looking at, for example, is there any examples of a metaphor in there? And usually with poems, I would say all of them use some sort of metaphorical language somewhere, but some more than others. And, you know, are they using examples such as similes? Are they using personification? And if you're a parent and you think, okay, I don't know what that means, speak to your teenager. They are very aware. They learn these terms in school. So they're very aware of those terms. They might have to just go back to their meaning. Okay. So they need to also identify that, because in their exam question, they need to point that out in their exam question. Whatever quotes they focus on in the poem, so different parts that relates to the exam question that they're answering, they need to be able to identify the language or poetic device that is used in the poem as well. Number 4, and this is quite common, where your teenager just forgets about the structure completely in the poem. The structure is so important. And when we talk about structure, we're talking about the layout of the poem, what the poem looks like. So what type of structure they're using. So it could be, you could talk about the rhyme scheme that they're using, that's to do with structure. You could talk about if they're using a lot of rhetorical questions, that's to do with structure. You know, how is it laid out? Is it laid out deliberately? Are they not using a lot of punctuation? And you would say caesuras when it comes to poetry, they use like, they look like little commas and little pauses. Are they not using that at all in the poem? And so the structure is important, because that can kind of signify something about the poem, the pace of the poem. Is it really slow? Is it really fast? Etc. So if they are not sure about structure, they need to go back to their language, I would say the structural devices, not the language devices, and go through them when it comes to poetry, what type of structural devices that the poem might have in there. So it's really important they know that. Number 5, they tend to forget to talk about their own feelings about the poem. It's really important that they add their own opinion about the poem, and obviously it's based around whatever exam question that they get that is linked to the poem. And this is where they would add their critical response to the poem. I think, I believe, in my opinion, and then they talk about their own feelings about the poem. It will show the examiner, like, you know, you understand what is going on in the poem. You're developing your own critical response, which is really important when it comes to the assessment criteria that they need to add when it comes to their exam. And that will boost their marks significantly, especially when they are saying the right things as well. And number 6, they forget to talk about the writer, talk about the poet. What is the poet's message? What do you think the poet's message is? What do you think the poet is trying to get across to you as a reader, or to an audience in general? What is the poet trying to say? What does the poet want to say to the reader? And it's really important for them to be able to just write that out and explain, because that would show a more critical response, and that will develop the assessment objective of they need to be able to add a critical response regarding with the writer's purpose, and that would boost their marks significantly. And thank you, parents. I hope that was helpful for you. And just leave a comment down below if that was helpful, if you have any questions regarding what I just said, with the common errors that I usually see, and just let me know, is there anything else that you think should be added on there that your teenager needs to focus on when it comes to approaching unseen poetry? And have you had any experiences, if you're a teenager yourself, with unseen poetry, any pitfalls that I haven't mentioned? Just leave a comment down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Give me a big thumbs up. And yeah, thank you for tuning in, guys. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you need any extra further help when it comes to English GCSE or English in general, please contact me. All my links are down below. Go to my website and sign up for a free consultation with me. And thank you guys, and remember, reach your full potential with confidence. Take care, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.